preparing to live stream the meeting. Wait, stay, don't move. Wait, now how do I?
If you tap the screen, your options should come back up.
Yep.
And you can turn back on your video. There
There we
you
go.
Hey, I'm back.
go. Hi.
I've got like one page left. Give me a second.
Like, I was trying to finish it in time. I was listening to it on like 2.5 speed. So, you know.
Yeah, I was skimming it and still didn't finish. So
I'm technically the only one that
I am
finished.
heartbroken.
I bet you are, Kara. I bet you are heartbroken.
in my defense, I've read this before. So I mean, it's been like a decade since the last time I read it. But like, I'm reminding myself of what happened more than finding it out. I actually have it up over here in the Project Gutenberg. Anyway, so hi, anybody watching? We're live now, and we're still talking from how we were talking before we were live. We're back. We've been gone for quite a while.
I mean, yeah, a lot's happened.
It's been a
So
long couple of
A lot's
months.
happened.
I think
A whole mess of a lot has happened.
last time we did a live, Wiggles was still alive.
Yeah.
So in case you guys didn't know, my fur buddy passed away in August. So
I still have my fur buddy, which is his twin. He's gonna live to be 20, I swear.
And yeah,
A lot else happened. It was just a very long,
Yeah.
rough
Lots.
couple of months.
Lots of very emotional things, and lots of just very busy things, and lots. As far
We lost 2 family members too.
yeah.
Yep.
It's been a long, rough month. I almost
been
forgot about this book. Lisa was like,
I didn't know
"Karen,
what
don't
you
forget
guys.
about your chip."
I didn't know what you guys want to say on live and what you didn't. So
Well, basically, our mom had a sudden illness and she passed away, and then our aunt passed away shortly after. But we kind of took our time to mourn, and now we're back and jumping back into our crafting and our businesses and our book club.
So on a much less sad note from my end of things, my children's school closed, and I, looking at the different options available to us, my husband and I decided to homeschool, but I'm still working full time, and he's at home, but he's chronically ill. So I'm kind of arranging the homeschooling, and he's trying to keep them doing their work during the day, but then I have more to do in the evening. But I also have a business partner now to work more on actually building Pixie Elegance. Yay! So we have things very much actively in progress, avidly moving. Stuff is happening daily, weekly, but even up to daily, changes in progress and things happening, and I can hardly wait to be able to get from the boring businessy crunching numbers and writing business plans and all the boring background stuff and get to the point of having stuff to actually show you guys. But right now it's still The reason that I didn't finish reading this is because I was busy working on finishing an Excel spreadsheet that took me longer than expected it to. But I'm really excited to finally be working on that. But it's a lot of busy. And yeah, so what are you guys working on tonight?
I am working on taking these, not really plastic, but fabric leaves. And I'm putting a super glue so the jump ring doesn't tear through them. I'm turning them into earrings.
I am making earrings. This is one of them.
Nice.
But this one is based off of this color scheme. Is
Oh, I like that.
really hard to see on my camera for some reason.
Because it doesn't like to change its focus off of your face. It wants to look at you.
And
Yeah.
Karen won't lag today because she's finally got better internet.
Finally, after 11 months, I finally have the Fidium internet I have been begging for. And I
Yay.
now have non-crappy 10 megabyte download speed. And 5 megabyte upload speed. I now have a gig.
I am working on building a portal gun from the video game Portal
Nice.
for my Halloween costume.
Yes.
Right now, I'm trying to figure out where my phone went.
It's in front of you?
FOAM, foam.
Oh, I thought it's a phone. I'm like in front of you.
Yeah,
I've done that before.
as I said it, I knew it would be hard to differentiate between those.
I've done that before. Where's my phone? In front of you?
I'm talking
under
on
my
it.
Oh, I've definitely done that. Don't get me wrong. It just wasn't this particular case. I found a very helpful video that I've been using. So trying to follow the recommendations from that. Right now, it looks far less like a portal gun and far more like a PVC pipe.
So I gotta be
But,
careful because the glue's
but-
not dry.
sorry, what?
I said I gotta be careful because the glue's not dry, and I'm trying to shove them all into a pile of leaves, and I don't want them sticking together.
This, for the record, you guys know, but for anybody watching, this is scrap of some foam that we use at where Lisa and I work. And so I wasn't sure if it would be wide enough because I'm using it. So this piece is going to fit inside of this piece, but I need it to like stay centered in it. So it's gonna like hold it centered in it, which means that I need it to be as wide as the middle of this is exactly that wide. Exactly. Like, look at the circle I just drew on it. Exactly that wide. Anyway, I just right now realized that, which is why I was like starting to just talk and not realizing that I was interrupting you. So sorry about that. But I just realized that because we're starting this today, unless you guys prefer to not, our next
It's Halloween.
will be on Halloween. And I'm fine with that because my kids and I, we do the trunk or treat at my church, and that's going to be a couple days before. But I was thinking that means that I can very easily be still showing off the results of this, but only if you guys are fine with doing it then too.
Yeah, I've got no Halloween plans.
Neither do I. Unfortunately.
Well, that's another update. I now have a job, and that's why we changed which Tuesdays book club was on. Because I only have this Tuesday free.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that after us missing so many weeks, you might be the only one who realizes that we switched which Tuesday it's on.
Oh, really? I'm the only one that realized?
I barely kept track, to be honest. I've had a lot of stuff going on.
I had busy weeks. Okay, so I had the 1 week where it was just me and Lisa's shop lives, and then the other week it was Lisa's shop live on Monday, book club on Tuesday, my shop's live on Wednesday, D&D group 1 on Thursday, and D&D group 2 on Friday. So I had like everything in 1 week.
See, the only reason that I know that we changed it, besides the fact that you said that we did, is because it's no longer the same week that we have D&D,
D&D.
that we play D&D.
Yep.
And if you hadn't, like, if you didn't have other things in your life that were the reason that's why we play D&D on that week, then I wouldn't have had any idea after we missed several weeks which week we were on anymore. I have no idea.
Oh, my toothpick went missing.
Oh no. I
I
can get
usually-
3 or 4 leaves out of 1 drop of super glue. This is impressive.
That is impressive. I'm afraid my toothpick's under my camera.
I gave you a whole thing of toothpicks.
Oh, found him. Got it.
So on my live yesterday, I told people that I'm going to be making 2 different types of Thanksgiving earrings and like 4 different types of Christmas earrings, and then my bandana headbands this week. So I'm trying to get at least 1 done today.
That's okay. I said I would have these done and I'd be working on turtles during book club, but fate had other plans for me and I slept all day.
I do like your turtles.
I should get the cake that we're working on to show you for the have either of you ever played Portal?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And for anybody watching who may not have, there's this whole thing in Portal with the electronic voice guiding you through all the different test chambers. Keeps promising cake at the end, except in very ominous ways, like you will be baked and then there will be cake.
The cake is
And
a lie.
and then yeah, in several different levels, if you find little like holes in the wall, essentially spaces behind stairs and things, it'll have like stuff written all over the walls, like somebody had been trapped there that couldn't figure out how to get through the level or how to get out of it. And they'll have like hash marks of how many days they've been there, and it's like the cake is a lie all over the place. So there's a very specific Portal cake design, and we're making that design as the dish that we're going to have the candy in at trunk or treat for handing it out from.
Nice.
And we're making a turret costume for Lemuel that's essentially going to be, it'll have like straps inside, and it's going to like come down over him. It's going to be pretty lightweight because we're using as lightweight materials as we can, but it'll basically be a hard outer shell, and with the sides cut out and strapped to his arms so that he can pull his arms out, because he really wanted to be able to pull his arms out and go And yeah, so we have several different things like that that we're working on. And then Micaiah, who is my other son, for anybody watching, he initially had wanted to do this and was going to be dressed up as GLaDOS, the AI that leads you through.
I was gonna ask you if somebody was gonna be Gladys.
But he decided that he didn't want to be part of this anymore. So he's just doing his own costume for trunk or treat, and he's not going to help us with the trunk.
Aww.
And a big part of that is because his brother likes to sing Stay Alive, Still Alive. I'm on Hamilton instead. He likes to sing Still Alive, the song from the end of Portal, way too much. And he got so sick of it that he doesn't even want to be at the trunk with us doing the Portal stuff, because he's going to be singing it. Actually, he wants us to just play it on a loop. And I was like, no,
Nope.
I'm not playing it for 2 hours. There's not a song in this world that I will play for 2 hours on a loop.
Nope.
But then, yeah, he decided he wanted to be a Power Ranger. So I was
Nice.
like, I'm making a couple of other costumes in basically full cosplay format, because I never get to go to cons or anything. So this is the only time I ever get to wield my love of cosplay. So, and not like I have anything else that I'm doing with my time, but
Totally free.
right. I was like, something, I can buy one child a Power Rangers costume, then sure, I will buy a Power Rangers costume. I didn't do that correctly.
So we
Oh,
are
no.
20 minutes in and we have yet to discuss this book.
Shoot. So I at
Time.
first, the first chapter, 34, is Friends. I honestly, it's been so long, I was disorientated on a lot of what was going on with Joe. Because previously with Joe, we only had the letters and she was telling us about events.
And
at
I
the
was
board.
like, they better not be trying to make a romance between her and that German professor dude.
I really didn't want there to be one.
I was like, my ship is Teddy and Joe. That's what I want. Which I'd forgotten all about Teddy and Joe in the whole book until Lisa reminded me, I think we're going to find out more about your ship today. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's right, Teddy and Joe.
I reminded her. Mm-hmm.
Really, Lisa?
I did. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew she needed to read it.
It made me very sad.
Trying to inspire her to read it.
I know.
Very sad.
So anyway, so it kind of goes over her stay at the boarding house beyond her letters, and talking about her writing and how she tried they said what did we call it? Sensual sensation stories.
Sensational.
Which I guess is romance stories.
But also
No.
kind of like horror, thriller,
Basically,
high emotion.
Brain candy kind of stories instead of anything that has any sort of moral lesson. And Louisa May Alcott herself very much liked to write whatever she felt like writing, and she needed her stuff to sell, and it was actually the stuff with moral lessons that was easier for women to get sold frequently, which is why Jo often had to sell those sensationalized stories under different pen names.
I give her no pen name. She left it with no name.
Oh yeah, that's right. And so those sold really, really well, but not with anybody knowing that they were written by women. And if it was written by women, it was expected that they would have morals imparted. So that's why Louisa May Alcott made sure to sprinkle throughout, especially because this was originally published in a serial. So in each section, it had to have morals reiterated. So, you know, a couple chapters at a time or however it was published. So they would say, let's see, where was that part? The purpose which now took possession of her was a natural one to a poor and ambitious girl, but the means she took to gain her end were not the best. No, that wasn't even the line I wanted to read. It was actually the very first line of this chapter I was thinking of. Though very happy in the social atmosphere about her and very busy with the daily work that earned her bread and made it sweeter for the effort, Jo still found time for literary labors. It's so carefully worded to make sure to include that she's very happy and very busy with the daily work that is getting her money for her food and makes her food sweeter because she worked for it. And like the morals of the day and the things that were particularly important for especially a New England journal to be publishing when publishing something written by a woman and presumed to be intended for children. So basically, by condemning the sensationalized stories, she's saying that she's continuing that, and I don't know enough of the history to know if there were other social mores surrounding those. I mean, there are today. There are people feel like they should feel guilty for enjoying comics, like that's not as, you know, highbrow as some fancy schmancy literary whatever, even though you can learn just as much or more often from a lot of different comics. And so it's kind of that, but it's kind of her bowing to that, have to make sure to tell the children that that's not the kind of stuff they should be reading. They should be reading things like this that teach them morals, not because she necessarily thought that, but because she needed to write what would be selected to sell because she was supporting her family.
Interesting. I just thought it was interesting because it wasn't, that kind of writing isn't Jo's style to begin with.
It's not.
Like, it's really not what Jo loves to write.
And yet she found herself studying people and papers and trying to write what this guy wanted just so she could get paid.
Well, have you ever found yourself doing that with like your crafts or something? Like somebody wants a specific thing and you're like making it, but like it's not really your thing, and like you feel like it's not coming out as well as if it was being made by somebody that it was their thing.
that's the reason why I don't make certain things, actually. Because of that feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely done that. I've had like requests for specific things and it's like, I don't have the inspiration for it. And it's not coming out. It's not.
Yeah, like people always ask me like, do you do this stuff and this stuff with resin? I was like, no, I don't think I could. It's not something I'd feel comfortable doing. Because I make some resin stuff, especially pets. Like over the past couple months, especially with the death of Lisa's pet, people seem to be like, "Oh, do you put ashes in resin?" No, I do not
I
put.
didn't ask that, by the way, just so everybody knows.
It's like people have asked that, not me. I'm
Not
not.
me. I buried my dog.
I'm like, I wouldn't want to be trusted that, because if something happened and the resin didn't cure properly and it was messed up, then the ashes is now it messed up forever, and I wouldn't want that kind of responsibility for somebody. It seems a little bit too much responsibility for me. Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, I respect the people who do, and I think it's a cute idea, but it is not something that I would feel comfortable doing.
And that's perfectly fine. Like me, I have made some hats and some basic scarves. I like decorative scarves more than regular basic, but I have made some. And I don't like doing mittens or slippers, which is a big crochet thing. Everybody does slippers or mittens, and I don't know. I've never been one to do just what everybody else does. I don't want to. There's other people. Get it from them.
Yeah, exactly. Like I appreciate that you want to support me, but support me with the things that I make and support other artists too. Like I want you to support other artists. I'm not like trying to shut out other artists. I mean, that's a big part of one of the principles I have behind Pixie Elegance is like
Keeping.
artists supporting artists building each other up and making a place where artists can be seen and built up without having to be competing against each other so much, and without all the, well, not all, because obviously you can't remove every risk from stuff.
It's 7:30 in case anybody wanted to know.
Somebody forgot to put her do not disturb on.
I did put it on. I just didn't cancel the alarm.
It's because I'm on my phone instead of my laptop, I can only see one of you at a time instead of both of you at the same time.
You can swipe the screen to the right, to the left.
The screen.
Swipe the screen left.
Yeah, to the left. From the right to left.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
But all I was going to say with that is because I had it on only one of you at a time, the screen just went black and I wasn't sure if it was just Lisa blanked out or if it was like something had just happened.
It's just me. Just me.
And I just realized I never said for anybody watching this, I had said this before it was actually live. The speaker and microphone in my laptop both died, and I'm working on getting an external microphone. I have external speakers, but until I can get the external microphone, I have an external microphone, which we don't want to run at the same time as external speakers because there would be tons and tons of echoey feedback, but B, I can't find the cord for it. So, microphone, yay, super helpful. But I'm actually we're getting a replacement microphone for a set of headphones that I have, which will probably work a lot better for this. But the rest of my sentence just left my brain. What was I about to say?
I don't know. I just tossed the super.
Because they're both broken, you can't use the laptop right now.
No,
I don't know.
before that, but what was I starting to say before that, before I got off on that tangent?
Before my alarm went off, I have no idea. My brain memory isn't that long. Oh, supporting each other, different crafts, without
Yeah.
competition.
That like, you know, we can have that, and we can, you know, I don't make that specific thing, but I know somebody who does. Let me point you to them. And sometimes I've said that to people, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, I was specifically wanting to do this because I wanted to support you." And I'm like, "Well, that's really great, but like, support other artists too."
And if you want to support me specifically, just buy something that I have.
Exactly.
It's not like I'm only made to order. I have plenty of stock.
Same. Oh, my finger's gonna be an inch of super glue. Ugh.
This one ended up slightly narrow.
So at the somewhere near the end of the chapter, the German professor, Mr. Bear, he sees her looking at a newspaper about violence and stuff, because a little girl had made it into a hat for him.
Yeah.
And he was like, he basically put two and two together and knew she was writing for a
Wait.
newspaper.
Wasn't
And
this one you read before?
Huh?
Are you repeating what we had read last time?
No, this is what we read this time.
Maybe I read this in preparation for last
I'm still
time.
in chapter friend. I'm still in chapter friend.
Yeah,
34
I'm just thinking,
35 is what we read.
I hadn't actually read it this time, but I'm like, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm like, maybe I read it in preparation for this time.
That does
You-
sound like you.
You probably read it, but because it's been a couple months, you're just like
When we
rereading
wrote
it.
last time before we had to cancel it, I might have already read this one.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
and he basically says how much trash it is and how bad it is, and it's not. He wouldn't even let his sons play. He'd rather his sons play with gunpowder than read that stuff. And so she goes back and reads all of her stuff with a new open eyes, and she realizes how much crap how bad the last 3 months have gotten her writing, and how she doesn't want her writing to be that way anyway. And she's ashamed and glad she wrote it with no name, and so she stops writing for the rest of the winter. And then as they're leaving, I swear they had Mr. Bear have a crush on her, because he talked about how it would have been nice to have a wife and a home.
They did. They did, Kier. That was intentional.
Yeah.
I say nothing. I know nothing.
I'm so sad she ends up with Mr. Bear.
Um,
Not only because he's a significant amount older than her, but because my ship,
she cares very much about her ship.
my ship.
I know she does.
The last line of of 35 made me very sad. So she especially tells at the end of chapter friend, she tells Bear that she would like Bear and Lori to meet, because her best friend and him, she'd love for them to meet. And he sort of feels like she likes Teddy, but only a little bit. But then, and she starts blushing to like almost prove this point. But she refuses it venomously. Vehemently, not venomous.
Venomously, yeah. Not venomously. That's aggressive.
Vehemently.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe she did.
Vehemently, yeah. I don't know. Maybe she was feisty about it. That does sound like Joe. Vehemently. It does sound like Joe to be feisty.
Every time I say this, you start talking. It's pronounced vehemently.
Vehemently, thank you. I couldn't pronounce it right.
I'm like, I keep trying to say it and you can't hear me. They gave me this stuff to use for this, and I really, really don't think it's going to actually work. The thing that was actually recommended. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can. All right, so see the gap between the two pipes where the
Yeah.
so there's like the hole cut into it, and then there's the gap between them as they're two different sizes.
Yep.
So they recommended plumber's putty to basically fill that in, and then you like sand it down and everything. But the guy at the hardware store was like, I have never even heard of that. And the video was from like 12 years ago. And so it like he was looking around like, yeah, we definitely don't have anything like that. And so he ended up after a bit, he's like, well, do you think that maybe plumber's epoxy would work? But the thing is, the plumber's putty in the video, it's like he uses it almost like clay, like he's moving it around with his hand. And you definitely cannot do that with epoxy.
Mm-mm. No, I think plumber's putty's probably a lot more like the stuff they put on walls for like flattening up the, what's that called? Like when you have a hole in the wall.
Yeah, I have some of that. But and I might use that on some parts of this. Right now, I'm trying to see if I can just like fill in the gaps with pieces of foam. And then I can just do the epoxy over that. Because once it's all spray painted, as long as it's all solid and connected,
You'll never know.
it'll be fine. So I don't necessarily need it to be clay that's holding it together. That's just because it's how the guy in the video did it doesn't mean it's how I have to do it.
Oh,
These are
Anyway.
story.
I'm holding my tongue. I'm holding my tongue.
Okay, so for the record, the guy in the video, among other things, listed amongst the materials that you need a plunger with a clear handle. He used the clear handle from this. It literally could be any clear acrylic rod of about 8 to 10 inches long. That's what you needed, is a clear acrylic rod of about 8 to 10 inches long.
He's 5-minute crafting you.
I mean, he was demonstrating like it's like an inexpensive build. And definitely far less expensive than the like $200 or more replicas that are available on Etsy. Like, and I don't begrudge people charging that in the slightest. A lot of
It's the
work.
time and effort that goes into it that makes those cost the most.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for sure. And I don't begrudge them that. I'm not spending that, and I don't have that to spend even if I were willing to spend that. But the where did I put it? I had it in my hand a couple minutes ago. The purpose of the acrylic piece, oh, there it is. The purpose of the acrylic piece is actually to conduct the light when you put in the flashlight that lights it up. It makes it look like you're actually shooting portals. And you put it inside a clear plastic tube. So I got a clear plastic tube, and I just found something that had, I ended up with another plastic tube, but it's something that I could put inside of this clear plastic tube, and it can go inside of this. And it shows right there. And then if I can align this right, because I obviously don't have it all situated right yet, but once it's properly aligned, it lights it up. And it lights it up exactly how I need. It worked very
Ooh.
well.
Nice.
Plunger not included.
I'm getting to an end of these leaves, I think.
You just got really, really quiet all of a sudden.
I did.
Karen, is she quiet to you too, or is my phone doing something
Nope.
weird?
And she's not quiet to me.
Nope.
I mean, you were
You're
quiet
both
to me
really
for a
quiet to me.
minute ago, but
You both seem really quiet to me, and my phone is still all the way up.
huh? I
I'm
wonder.
not really quiet. That's amazing. No,
My
wait,
finger's
what's that?
turning orange.
Miscounted. I don't know if it's one or two more of these.
I can't actually
Okay.
hear you, so why don't you two talk about chapter 35?
Well,
Okay.
chapter 35 is, I forget what it's called, but Lori comes home from college.
It's either like heartbreaking or breaking hearts or something like that. Like
Heartache.
heartache.
And so Lori comes home from college, and they're all together. Mr. and Mrs. Marge, Megan, John, and Joe and Beth are all there. Just
Is
seeing
Amy
there.
still abroad at this point?
I'm assuming she's still abroad. She's gonna be abroad for years. I wouldn't be surprised if she marries that Frank guy. Wait, was it Frank? Was it Frank? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she marries
I
that
think it
Frank
was Frank. Yeah.
guy. All I can think of is Pride and Prejudice when the younger one ran off with the soldier guy. Reminds me of Amy.
Can't feel my fingers from the super glue. It's driving me nuts. Sorry.
And then he asks if they'll meet him tomorrow, and it's like all the girls say yeah, but Joe's the only one's gonna show up, and she's like, yeah, and I'll have the fanfare and the harp, and she's dreading tomorrow because she's afraid of what he'll say.
They make it very obvious what he's gonna say.
And she goes and visits Meg and John, and then something else, and then she finally meets up with him, and they go for a walk, and then he's like, I have to tell you. She's like, please don't, because I don't want to upset you. And he tells her that he's liked her since he ever got to know her. And she's like, we can't, we're too different, we fight all the time, we can't be together. I don't like you that way. I'll probably never like anyone that way. I like my stories. You don't like that I write.
Makes me all sad.
At one point, he's like, don't tell me you like that professor. And she's like, no, I don't like him.
Ugh. And then
But then I think he goes home and he talks with his grandfather. I was skipping this point because I was trying to finish.
So basically, he goes off in a rowboat, storms off for a float, a ride. What do you call it when you go for a boat trip? I think a ride on his boat, and she runs to tell Teddy's grandfather about what happens, feeling like it should come from her, and he tries to act like nothing until the end of the evening, where he can't keep his mouth shut any longer. And he's like, you should get away from here, get away from her, have some time to think, reflect. He's like, and I know someone who'll always go with you, me. It's like, let's
I
go
need to go
abroad together.
because I gotta go check on the London place anyway, so.
Penny words it just right to entice Teddy into a trip abroad to get his mind off of Joe and her horrible rejection.
Like when he leaves, he goes. I think he goes to tell her he's leaving, and she just, as he leaves, he put his head on her shoulder, and she ships him away. And it's like she knows that's the last time she'll ever see him. Like he'll never come back again. And I was like,
No, he'll never come back the same. Is basically what she was saying. She said that's the end of what's his name? I always forget it.
Laurie.
Laurie the boy. That's the end of Laurie the boy. Meaning he won't come back the same.
He's like, he just says, he doesn't, the whole conversation is, oh, Joe, can't you? She says, Teddy, dear, I wish I could. That was all except a little pause, and then Lloyd straightened himself up and said, it's all right, never mind, and went away without a word. But it wasn't all right, and Joe did mind, for while the curly hair lay on her arm for a minute after he heard her answer, she felt as if she stabbed her dearest friend, and when he left her without a look behind, she knew that the boy Laurie would never come again. You're right, it does refer to. Yeah. But it's still very sad to me.
Yeah, it's not Laurie himself, but Laurie the boy. The boy she knew and loved, but only platonically.
Oh no.
You messed up. These leaves are turning my fingers orange.
I'm only getting like some of the words you guys are saying because I really can barely hear you, but I did get the leaves are turning your fingers orange and it looks like you're eating Cheetos.
I'm not. I wish I was.
The really interesting part, we'll be watching this video afterward and finding out whether it actually went quiet, like because my phone is the one putting it to YouTube.
Yeah, like if YouTube can hear us, or if it's
Streaming,
just
what I
you.
was trying to spit out there. I know words.
I know some words.
What?
I know that a lot of the reading, especially in Joe's chapter,
Really,
I
really.
read the sentence and I was like, I don't understand half of these words. I felt like Joe when she was listening to the philosophical explanations of the professors talking about how there was no God, it's all science. And I felt like Joe didn't quite understand it. Like, yeah, Joe.
I'm losing my hearing, but I don't know why every electronic device around me seems to think that it needs to just stop projecting sound now. Like, it's not gone yet. Maybe it is.
I am determined to finish these leaves before 8 o'clock.
Well, you got 9 minutes.
You heard me.
You enunciated and pretty much shouted,
Yay.
as far as I could tell.
I tried.
I appreciate it because I really, really, for some reason, my phone just like stopped having. I'm like, I keep checking. I'm like, did I do something? No, it really the sound is all the way up. I don't understand.
Did you cover the speaker somehow?
No, it's just been sitting here. Except for when I was holding it, but like I didn't put anything on it or anything.
Eh,
I don't have any adhesive on my fingers that or anything adhesive that could have stuck to it. I've only been like poking foam into these spaces. I haven't been actually like gluing anything or anything. Anything or anything. I know words.
ouch.
That part off for now. So I can get this properly in place.
Ah,
Ugh,
Mm,
I fixed my mistake. It is all fixed.
How do you
There's
get super glue off?
a solvent, like paint thinner, nail polish remover.
You know what did happen though? My brother tried to call me, Facebook call me at the same time, and like it didn't ring because I was in a call, so it just like automatically popped up and saying that I missed a Facebook call, but that was the same time that the volume dropped. So I wonder if him trying to call messed my phone up somehow, like confused it.
That's possible.
My phone is like me, it's easily confused.
So yeah, so this time both chapters were about Joe. There was a little bit mentioned about Beth, which is my favorite. But I do know that the next chapter is called Beth's Secret, so maybe we'll get to know a little bit more about Beth next time.
Maybe.
I got a bag of leaves.
I'm still hoping that in the future Joe realizes that she actually likes Lori and they get together. I'm
Karen, I
hoping.
can't hear you at all.
She's hoping Joe changes her mind and Lori and Joe get together in the end.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Read
It's
and
my
find
little,
out.
it's my little
In
ship.
the immortal words of Becca, I can't remember her last name, from Pod and Prejudice. That's what she says to Molly every time that Molly makes any prediction of anything happening in whichever book they're reading at the time.
Read and find out.
Read and find out.
Well, I didn't get quite as far as I wanted to, although I'll probably actually do the epoxy now, once we hang up, because I don't really want to get mixing it and have to get it all in place in 5 minutes while trying to also situate everything with this. But I at least got the foam in place, holding it in. So it's one piece.
Nice.
I like it.
I had started cutting, I have to cut this one in half. And I had started doing that before a call. And then I was like, oh crap, we have like 4 minutes and I still need to figure out how I'm doing this video call. Cause laptop. But then like that and this make some additional decorations on the front. And then where's the other part I'm looking for? Oh, and then this goes on the back. And then that all gets spray painted black. And then I'm gonna use some foam. I might have to buy some foam for this, but I'm gonna see if I can glue a couple strips of the scrap foam together to form the shell that goes around the front and the back.
So I fixed my necklace, but it's not quite what I wanted because my jump ring wouldn't shape right. Hi. Oh, look. I fixed it.
I like it.
Nice.
Now it's all three.
Oh, it's pretty.
Thank
I
you.
don't I don't wear oh yeah. To those who don't know, the third heart is not from her boyfriend like the other two, but a friend gave us to commemorate one of the deaths.
Yep.
Our mom's death.
Reflections on the back. So I
And
remember this necklace. And my boyfriend gave me the other two.
All right.
so this is how much I've done today.
Very nice. Is that a pink or an
Very cute.
orange?
It's red and then there's blue on the other side.
Oh, I see the red now. Very nice.
And actually I think it's coral is the actual name of the color. Mm,
I got all of these super glued. I'm gonna have to turn them into earrings another time.
yeah, all I have left to do on that one is add this little ball on the bottom and the little part on the top for the hook to part two.
Nice.
And then there'll be one out of the two pairs. Two for the pair of me. And I still have one more color to do.
Yay. Some success for the day.
All right. Anything else anybody has to say?
Chapters 35, 36, 37 for next 2 weeks. Starting with Best Secret.
She said chapter 36 and 37 for next week, starting with Best Secret.
I don't
Yes.
know why she can't hear me.
I can barely hear Lisa either, but I'm pretty sure I got all that. But yes, chapters 36 and 37 for next week. Well, 2 weeks.
Look, we're getting close to the end.
Very, very close to done. Well, closer to done than not done.
It's a thick book. Thick book.
Yeah. And it will be on Halloween next time. So I'll be wearing my costume all day at work. I'll probably still keep it on for Bookcraft.
I'm still deciding if I'm dressing up or not.
Same.
I don't even like Halloween, like as Halloween. I just like dressing up. Like people are just like, hey, we're doing costumes for whatever this thing. I mean, anything. I'm just like, okay, costumes.
Yay.
So, anyway,
Alright.
all right. So I wonder how I convince this. All right. Everyone say bye.
Bye.